Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, and I'm going to be your Dungeon Master as we play through Tomb of Annihilation here on our live stream. This is our first time trying to live stream any of our games, so please bear with us as we figure out all of the technical challenges and things as we get going with it. Particularly this week, we had a little bit of issue with our recording. We didn't miss much, just he introducing his character, so it should be fine, but just wanted to let you know that it starts maybe a little more abruptly than we'd like it to. That said, I'd also like to give you just a little bit of background on this campaign. This is our first episode playing Tomb of Annihilation proper, but we did start with kind of a session 0 where we played through the Cellar of Death module, which is a module that's available on the DM's Guild. I would highly recommend it. I think the players really liked it. The dungeon was a lot of fun. And it gave some nice hooks into the story that we're going into. I may do a video at some point about it and kind of talk about what I liked and didn't like about it. But all of that to say, our characters are now level 2, and they have just arrived in Port Nyanzaru in Chult, and are looking for information about what is going on with the Soulmonger and the Death Curse. So hop on in, and I think you will enjoy tonight's adventure.
In all the colors of autumn leaves, so yellows, oranges, reds. She is exceptionally tall for a gnome and a little bit sensitive about it. She is currently carrying what might charitably be called a staff. It's a branch that she found in the woods somewhere, so it's not worked or decorated at all. And she's wearing some hides for armor, and she every once in a while, we'll pet one of them and say thank you to it.
Nice. Let's see. Galia, why don't you go next?
Alrighty. Galia D. Haven is a paladin of Lathander. She is a tiefling, but she looks human, and she acts pretty human, and she stands at a whopping 6'5".
We all look up to her.
Way up.
And her whole thing is she wants to try to atone for the demonic lineage in her by serving Lathander the best to her ability. And she does not like it when people know that she's a demon, and so right now nobody else in the party knows exactly what she is. They just think she's a normal human.
Excellent.
Well, tall.
Tall.
And she smells a little off when she's sweating.
Sulfury.
Yeah, off.
Jaharis.
Okay, I am James, and I play Jairus the Triton. And Jairus is an average height for a Triton at 5'2", but he seems even shorter next to a 7-foot polearm topped with an 8-inch copper-colored blade. He wears a black and white tabard bearing the crest of a tidal wave crashing onto jagged rocks over his rippling pectorals. An insignia in the shape of a quipper is embroidered in the tabard on his right shoulder. Jairus' skin is colored cerulean, and his hair is yellow-green, the color of sun shining through blades of kelp. His fingers and toes are webbed, and short fins jut from the sides of his calves and forearms, and there are gill flaps on his neck. So Jairus is we're second level, and I've taken a level of fighter and a level of barbarian, and I'm really excited to play.
Red Stout Fist.
See, well, Red is, well, the red thing is because he has like red hair and red beard. Wearing a silver helm, chainmail, is carrying a shield and warhammer, has a like a little symbol, a chain around his neck that has it's a little anvil type of thing. So he's a cleric of Moradin. Yeah, fairly new cleric of Moradin. Used to be a soldier. And then suddenly things changed.
Arigem, last but not least.
Alrighty. Well, if you're looking for Aragam, you probably wouldn't notice him. You'd notice the 10-foot pole that comes off of his back. It is his most favorite relic that he acquired while doing a dig. He's a tomb diver, an archaeologist. Most people in his party seem to think he's a thief for no reason, absolutely no proof. Bypass magical traps. But yeah, he's a little gnome. He doesn't actually look much like other gnomes in these parts or the Sword Coast. His family is from the deep desert. He's actually has a almost metallic like bronze skin. And desert gnomes are known for being quite a bit shorter. Food is a lot more sparse over there, so they don't eat a lot, they don't grow a lot. He's actually only 2.5 feet tall, so he's real little guy. He has a rapier at his side. He has a wide-brimmed hat with colorful feathers coming off of it. Just a real swashbucklery-looking dude who's always sporting a smile.
Excellent.
All right, I got a flash of a vision. You remember when we were kids and your parents wanted you to have a lot of visibility on your bicycles, so you had the flagpole on the back with it waving behind you like this? That's what I'm picturing, the 10-foot pole on this gnome. We need to plant a flag on it so we can see where he is.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So you all met up with Romalia Haventree after your adventures, and she took you to see Sindra Sylvain, who was an adventurer. Sindra gave you this map of Chult that we're looking at right now. You can see that most of it is not filled in. There is other stuff to find. Obviously, people who are watching the stream, you can see that you can see some extra stuff. So players, don't watch the stream. And as you're visiting with her, they explain that they need people to go and stop this curse that the Soulmonger is creating. And they ask for volunteers, people who might be willing to help. And all of you stepped forward and volunteered. Because you're kind of suckers, apparently.
Yeah, like we had a choice.
Adventure.
And so, it's with... as you're all standing there, just a few moments later, Sindra steps forward and says a few magic words and makes some gestures, and you suddenly find yourself no longer in balmy fall, autumn Baldur's Gate, but in the middle of a new city. It is teeming with exotic smells and spices, and the first thing you would notice is just the sun blazing down on you, and you're in a port district. You hear creaking ropes and slapping waves against the dock, and heavy barrels are rolling across cobblestones. People are buying and selling, and again, this explosion of color and sound and heat and smells surrounds you. And Romalia points your way to the Red Bazaar, which is down in this area of the city, and tells you to go find a place to stay there. And that is where we left off last time. She was headed to go find her friend, one of the merchant princes of the city. So that pretty well catches us up, I believe, to where we are. With all of that said, what would you guys like to do?
So we need to find lodging, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Are there any churches nearby within sight or anything that seems vaguely religious?
Yes, absolutely. So, looking around the city, you're going to see that there are a number of things that stand out to you. Just looking around, from where you are now, you all are here on the docks. I've made a nice little token for your party, so you can see where you are at any given moment here in the town. You're standing on the docks, and of course the Red Bazaar, as it is called, is across the bay, over in this direction. And there would be two places there that you could potentially stay. But from what you can see around the dock area where you are currently located, a couple of things are going to stand out. First of all, out in the water, separated by a bridge that leads out to it, you can kind of see a large building off in the distance. It's out on an island up over this way. It is isolated atop a rocky formation in the middle of the sea, so it kind of stands up above. You can even see it above the walls of the city and everything. There is a causeway that is elevated up above the walls that heads out towards it. And that would be the Temple of Soon that is over there. Other than that, what you would also see, from where you are, let's see, across the bay, you would also see a large structure down over here, and this structure, the reason it would catch your sight is because it is it's covered, the roof of it, it's a huge building, and the roof of it is catching the light of the sun, and it is reflecting gold. And I mean, this light could be seen for miles when the sun is hitting it. This would be the Hall of Gold, which you could find out from anybody who's passing by pretty easily. It is the Temple to Joaquin. There may be other temples, but that's what you could tell from where you are right now.
Would I know who either of these gods are and what their kind of beliefs would be?
You can roll a religion check for me real quick and see if you know anything.
Alrighty. Perfect. One of my best stats.
Waiting for it to... There it is. Took a second for it to... 18 religion. Yeah, you would be generally aware of what these... who these gods are. Joaquin would be the god of wealth and trade, which makes sense for a port city that is built around wealth and trade. And then you would know that Soon is... well, the best way to describe Soon... Soon is the goddess of beauty, love, and really like appearance and charisma. Like that's kind of the basis of what she is about. Yeah, that is what you would know about them.
Alrighty. Well, if there is no temple to Lathander here, I suppose that we must go and rest inside the inn.
You mean you talked to all those people just to find a church to stay in?
Yes, that is exactly what I did.
Oh.
Lathander is very giving to his servants, and he would always be able to provide for them if he has created a temple and house to his glory. But since this place seems to be without him for right now, it seems as if there is nothing for him.
I guess his power isn't as far-reaching as he might thought of.
Oh no, he is everywhere. He just has decided not to make himself known here yet. He will do it in his time, probably through me.
Is there some lofty expectations? Well, good luck. I'm gonna go see what's around town. I'll meet you guys in the what do they call it? The Red Bazaar. I'm sure I'll be able to find you guys. If not, just look for that little guy with the big pole.
With a flag on it.
It does not have a flag. And I swear if I see you tie something on there, you'll regret it.
But it is not a very familiar place. Are you sure that it is a good idea for us to separate?
Cities are all the same. You know one, you know them all.
I don't know any of them.
Well,
go ahead, Patsy.
if that is what you think would give you the best chance, then so be it.
And did Patsy just freeze for anybody else?
Nope, I've still got her. All right. So who is heading to the Red Bazaar to find lodging? Who is doing other variable stuff?
Irrigam is casing the town. He's gonna find who's who and what's what. You know what I'm saying?
Stuff to steal.
He's not gonna be hasty. You know what I mean?
Juris will head toward the Red Bazaar.
And Aza is going to the Red Bazaar also.
Yep, Red will.
And I'm going to reconnect to see if I
Dahlia
can get Patsy
will
back.
head towards the bazaar, but she'll keep an eye out for if there's any temple with like a sun symbol or like some kind of light symbol or just something that seems vaguely Lithandarian.
Okay, sure. So, you know what? Let's do a. As you are traveling, you can.
Red, I was wondering, since we got here, it sounds like we're going to be spending some more time together. You didn't tell me before. You're a soldier from the Underdark. You didn't tell me before. What were you fighting for?
Well, in the Underdark, we were mostly just fighting drow and that kind of thing. We did come up topside for that war against Tiamat, but yeah,
Was it
mostly drow.
Just conquest? Just
Well, dude,
were you defending anything?
yeah, I mean the drow usually like to do the conquesting.
Oh, you have a ranking in your army.
Sure. I was a captain.
Captain.
Yeah, not very high.
That's something.
How about you? You were in the military, right?
I'm just a quipper. What would you call it? Private, maybe? Lowest.
Oh, you don't want to tell me? Oh, okay.
No. I was lowest rung on the ladder. In Serul, the kelp forest, told you, past the Moonshine Isles west. There's no danger there. We're just trolling the forest. No sound, no krakens. No opportunity for advancement.
Ah, I see. Yeah, nothing like wars to, advance. To prove your mettle and
Precisely.
that kind of thing.
Patsy, as your group starts making their way towards the Red Bazaar, you're actually going to see this building right here that you're standing next to. You're going to see a symbol on the building, and it is a symbol of a anvil and smith. So it's not what you're specifically looking for, but you would recognize it with your religion roll that you did earlier. This is a temple to Gond, who is one of the gods of craftsmen. He's known as the Lord of all Smiths. So specifically, smith work is his thing, but he would also cover artisanship in general a little bit as well.
Yeah, he stole that from Moradin.
Golly was just about to nudge Red, be like, "Isn't that very similar to your god? He seems to be the anvil and the crafting and the dwarf, perhaps."
Yep, we were there first. Darn humans.
So they based this one off of your god, then?
Oh, no doubt. It's just copycats. They not even close to the same quality of Smith's work.
But perhaps it is simply the same god, just in a different face.
I don't know.
So as you're walking by, this place is pretty impressive. There are just all kinds of artisans and stuff around it who are crafting and that sort of thing. A lot of temples to Gond would have a forge as a centerpiece. This one actually has a fountain that is huge, and there's like these water jets that shoot out these really cool shapes into the air. And it's just all done with like this really intricate craftswork, and it's really, really very impressive. But yeah,
So it's stonework?
Some of it would be, yeah, sure.
Because I'd be looking at it very appraisingly.
Yeah. With your stone cutting, you would probably be aware that there was definitely some dwarven workmanship that is involved in this specific construction here. Absolutely.
It is pretty, but it is not as beautiful as the stained glass in Lathander's temple. It just beautifully illuminates the entire chapel. Oh, it just makes me so happy to think about it.
Stained glass, that stuff breaks pretty easily. Stone is really good and solid, so.
But stone does not allow the light to enter into the chapel. It blocks it from the light and makes it dark and no good.
Well, dwarves can see in the dark, right?
Well, I can see in the dark as well, because Lathander blessed me with that talent. But it is always better to be in the light rather than be hiding.
Sure.
Lathander blessed me, yeah.
Lathander blesses everybody.
So as the two of you continue debating, you'll continue through the city, making your way through some of the streets. Coming out around this way, you see that to your right, as you're walking through this area, there is a large bazaar here, and this would be the Grand Souk, which is a Chultan word for market, so the Grand Market. It is one of the 3 markets here in Chult, and all of this would be very, you can just ask anyone along the street to find out this information very quickly. This is the Grand Market here. This is traders from all over the Sword Coast come to this market specifically to buy things like timber and spices and medicines that are made from rare jungle plants, that sort of thing, dinosaur skulls, and then things like iron and pelts of exotic creatures, ivory from exotic creatures, that sort of thing. Handiwork from some of the denizens of the jungle, feathers, tropical fruit, monkeys, all of that kind of thing. This is just a huge jostling sort of bazaar with there's guards everywhere, and you see street performers, and it's just this is one of the very, very busy places here in Chult. Arrogant, as everyone else is kind of making their way to the Red Bazaar, let's talk about what you're doing. Because I'm sure everybody else is making their way. Red and Galia are just kind of having religious debates and about stonework versus stained glass. What is Aragim up to?
Yeah, Aragim might have caught, because he was going in generally the same direction, so he might have caught some bits from that fascinating conversation. But when he approached the grand markets, he would have gone into business mode. Generally, what he's doing is, he knows, his life has not always been, adventurer's work. He's had other lines, and he's sort of looking for some gold here. He knows that he's going to be facing some new threats here, some stuff. So he's going to need to build up some resources, and he needs to build them up quick. Mm-hmm. So he's looking for someone who might be offering easy work, and he might approach some of the merchants there, and he'll be having a conversation with them, but it seems like he's talking in circles. Maybe some of them realize what he's doing. Probably, maybe some of them don't. He's actually speaking in thieves' cant. He's going to see if there's anybody who's offering work. Reputable businessmen offering work.
Yeah, definitely. Reputable.
Was that in quotes? I missed that.
Did anybody tell Aragim?
You don't understand thieves' cant, so you couldn't hear the air quotes. So.
Did anybody tell Aragim about the money we got last week?
Everybody did get some cash last week. Speaking of which, that is actually something that we should cover real quick. Aragim, you picked up a pouch in the Lich's lair where you were. That definitely had some coinage in it that you never looked in because you technically weren't there. This pouch would have 200 gold pieces in it.
Okay, then you probably should divide that.
Aza, you had picked up a pouch as well from the flooded room. That the skeleton was kind of holding on to inside the little grate that you all risked your lives for.
Right.
This pouch, you open it up, and it has 10 copper pieces in it.
We should have a new pouch.
And you have a little coin pouch now. Also, Erica, you picked up 3 scrolls. From
It was 3? Okay.
Yes. Now, I'm not sure that you technically have the power to read scrolls yet, because you have not picked up your magical ability at level 3 yet, correct?
Yeah, I guess. I mean...
I guess you can read anything from your class, right? So
yeah, I mean, I have an Arcana. If you can Arcana to decipher spells, then...
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know about not being a caster.
You know what? I'll just for the simplicity of our current situation, I'm just going to tell you what they are.
Sure.
And then we can, I think you've been with everyone enough that you can figure out a way to have made this work. Because 2 of them you definitely would be able, because you're gonna get wizard stuff at level 3. So 2 of the spell scrolls that you picked up. One is Hold the Person, and the other is Ice Knife, which is from I believe it's actually out of the Elemental Evil campaign. But this is what that does. That is Ice Knife. The third one is Death Ward. So those
I
are
wouldn't know anything about that.
Right?
That sounds familiar.
I was going to say, Death Ward is a cleric and a paladin spell, whereas Hold Person and Ice Knife, I believe, are both druid and wizard, and they may have other stuff, but the rest doesn't really matter for our campaign currently.
Yeah. Well, Aragam can't cast them. He would have been like, I sort of know what these do, but I can't do shit with them, so who wants them? Either that or I could sell them to someone who, could give us the money. It's up to you guys.
Well,
Asa would take the druid scrolls.
I guess. Would I be able to, since Hold Person is technically an Oath of Vengeance spell, would I still be able to use it even if I didn't take that oath? Or?
If it's on the paladin spell list, you can use it. But if it's not on the spell list, if it's only for the domain, then no.
Okay, then I do not believe that I can take it. Let me just... Yeah, I can only take it if I had Oath of Vengeance. So.
Death Ward is one that both Patsy or Red could use. Galia or Red.
Whoa. 4th level spell scroll?
Yes, it is.
You sure you don't want me to sell this one?
Death Ward might come in handy in this campaign.
That'll come in handy eventually.
Well, Lathander has blessed me very much, but I think that perhaps Red could use it a little bit better to bless the rest of us.
But also, gold.
Well, I don't know if this works with timing, but I was going to suggest we get a wand of healing.
Well, we'll see if that is a thing we can do.
Or she had to get the staff of healing.
See if we can do any of that sort of thing.
So we might want some gold.
I already have been blessed with these shields, and so if you need to purchase something, I could perhaps help you with that.
Yeah. Well, we used to carry those staffs on the battlefield when priests weren't around, so they can be handy in a pinch.
Well, surely, if we explain to the merchants the direness of the need, certainly we could requisition the staff of healing.
Jarvis, have you ever met a merchant?
Well, the soulmonger. Yes.
I mean, any merchant worth his 2 coppers isn't going to give us stuff for free.
Well, we'd give it back.
Well, if we told them about our holy mission, then perhaps at the very least they could lower the prices.
Well, good luck with that. I'm, I got business to take care of. I'll hand the, I guess you guys can distribute the scrolls however you want it. 'Cause I know there's a lot of overlap between the 3 of them and the 3 of you.
All right, cool. Yeah, guys, feel free to. It looks like Aza is getting the 2 the ice knife and whole person, and Red is getting death ward, is what it looks like. All right. Okay, so Aragim, you are over here in the Grand Souk. And you are looking for rumors and that sort of thing. Any kind of information. Now, there would be like some like pickpockets and that sort of thing hanging out here. There is definitely a criminal element here in the market as well. They are pretty careful though, because this place has a lot of guards. But yeah, you're able to find a someone, probably a young urchin of some sort that you could make contact with using your thieves' cant, and they would kind of fill you in on what's going on in the city just a little bit. So the city is controlled by merchant princes. All of the vendors who operate here owe allegiance to one of the merchant princes here in the town. Different ones control different things. And if you are looking for some work to do, if you're looking for something on the more honest side, you go check with the merchant princes and they might have something. Like, that's kind of the first thing. If you are wanting something a little more nefarious, there is a bookie who operates out of an area up in this direction. This is called Executioner's Run up here, and the reason it's called that, is because there is a pit. It's a 15-foot deep pit here, and anyone who is found guilty here, it's a 50-foot wide pit. It's 200 feet long. Anyone who is found guilty of anything, this is where they are sent for punishment. It is also used for entertainment at various times. And the way it is used, it is... Basically, they'll put in someone at one end, and at the other end, they'll put in dinosaurs. And if the person can make it all the way through all 200 feet and survive, they are a champion and they win prize money and that sort of thing. A lot of criminals come here, and there are people who are kind of crowd favorites at this point. They can earn their freedom, and there are some who will actually commit crimes multiple times to be able to run it more and more, to be able to amass more wealth and honor and renown amongst the crowds. And there is a lot of betting that goes on with this thing as well, as you can imagine. And there is a bookie who needs some help with a debt that is owed. Basically, this bookie would like some backup. There is there's someone who owes a debt, and they need help collecting it.
Yeah. My thought as a player was, oh, who can I invite along to this? And I looked over each of your faces. I'm like, nope. All right, looks like I'm going alone. My first thought was like, oh, maybe Jarvis, but he's like, no way.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would love to do that.
James would love to. Jarvis would be.
Jarvis,
he might have.
you don't
Why
know
are you
Jarvis.
fighting? Why are you fighting? Oh,
You don't know Jarvis.
I don't know. I saw the fight on the beach. I listened to it. I think I have a pretty good sense of Jarvis.
You think,
or at least with his moralities.
Maybe.
You know what the light of Lathander shining on the situation?
Something
yeah,
that he
if there was
cares
some
about.
Lathander. You just said it was a holy mission that was sent. Then maybe Galia would definitely
Now,
just say Lathander, and she'll say where.
now I will say, even though this is more in line with like what Aragim would be generally down for, this is not an illegal gambling situation. This is a legal debt that is owed, and it is incredibly legal for them to go collect this. So there is nothing shady in other than it's not the main area of stuff that is dealt with. But there's nothing illegal specifically about this action that would necessarily throw any of the party into a moral quandary from that standpoint.
Aragim would accept. He'd ask if he could, what the pay was.
Yeah. So the debt that is owed. So the bookie who has made this who's taken this bet is named Kalua, and he is the debt is owed by a fighter who has run several times in Executioner's Run, and is definitely a crowd favorite, but is also a betting person and is now in debt. They are owed 500 gold pieces. The bookie would pay a 25% finder's fee for help in recovering this. So that would be 125 gold amongst the party.
Oh, the party?
If I'm doing well among whoever goes and helps with this.
Does it sound like something I could do on my own? I mean, this guy sounds like he's fought dinosaurs, so I might need some backup there.
This guy has definitely fought dinosaurs.
Right, I'll probably be bringing some friends. Maybe. We'll see who likes it. But, where do you have a contact or someplace we could find him? Any leads on extract goods?
Kalua would want to meet you over near Executioner's Run, and then would go with you to do it.
Sounds good. And it's name Kahlua.
I'll copy and paste it into chat. K''LAHU.
I had all the letters in there, but just a different order.
So that would be something that you would find, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I would tell him I'll meet him there in an hour or so. 2 hours, maybe? Somewhere in there.
Later in the evening, definitely.
Yeah.
There's not a specific hurry in this. Like, this guy... Here's the thing. No one leaves Chult particularly much. Unless they are sailing out on a ship, no one is going into the forest. Most of the people into the jungle. Most of the people here live here in Chult and will never venture half a mile outside, because if they do, they will die. So they're not exactly worried about the timing on it, other than it just needs to happen. It is something that needs to happen, and they need a little muscle to do it.
I see.
Yep.
All right. I'll probably try and catch up with the nerds.
So the nerds would have kind of, I would think, made their way towards the Red Bazaar during this time. and there's probably a few more things that you would have noticed. Specifically, as you're coming down this way, you'll see a large stone structure here in the center of the town. This is the Grand Colosseum, and this is a place where, similarly to Executioner's Run, which is less organized and more crowd-based, the Grand Colosseum is a place of organized combat. There is, most days, there is some form of entertainment that goes on here, whether it's gladiators fighting or different shows of animal combats, often involving some of the more ferocious dinosaurs or various types of circuses, that sort of thing. This would be where those fights sort of happen. But yeah, that is probably about where Ergim you would catch up with them, I would imagine, is as they're nearing the Red Bazaar.
There haven't been any sun churches yet.
No, you have not. You have not spotted any.
I wanted to keep my eye out also for like ranger types or jungle guide types that might be walking around the city.
Sure. So you see a lot of people here around the city, and they all look to you very exotic. Something kind of like that. This is kind of typical, typical costumery clothing of people around the city. So what you can do? Let's have you do a roll and see if you catch anyone specific. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
All right. Not bad. 19.
19. All right. With a 19, yeah, you're going to see. Let me do one thing here. You know what? Will you do me a favor? Will you roll me a d10?
It's 4.
All right, with a 4. Cool. All right, yeah. So as you're wandering around, you're going to see someone who kind of stands out a little bit to you. This is. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm finding. There we go. Now there are a lot of exotic creatures, as I have mentioned. This one is going to stand out significantly more because you are seeing tabaxi, you are seeing humans, you are seeing elves, you're seeing dwarves, you're seeing all of the various races of the land. And you are going to see a creature that significantly stands out for a couple of reasons. The first is that this creature is leading an ankylosaurus, which, let me find what that looks like for you.
Thanks.
Is that the one with the club tail?
I believe so. Let's see. Here, I will pull one out onto the map. That's probably the easiest way to do this.
Whoa!
Okay.
So that is kind of what an ankylosaurus looks like. So it's kind of low and fast and spiny, and it's got a tail with some barbs on it. The second thing that you will notice about this creature is that it's a turtle.
Yes. I was hoping we'd find it.
Yes!
Let's see. Here we go.
You mean turtle or tortle?
Well, a turtle. It looks like a turtle. It's a giant.
What?
It is a giant-looking, turtle.
It's a croakian.
Yeah.
That is It's a Krogan.
It's pretty much a Krogan. And this guy stands out pretty significantly from the rest. You have not seen anyone else around who looks anything like him. Would you want to approach him?
Yeah, I would.
Absolutely. He's kind of just walking through the streets. So, how would you approach him?
Well, hi there.
He'll stop. He moves kind of just a little bit, like his movements are just a little exaggerated and slow. He'll just, oh, well met, stranger.
Just laughs in his face.
I'm sorry.
That's very rude.
Oh, poor James.
Oh man, I may have lost the voice.
My bad.
Well, you look like you're been around these parts. You been out of the city into the jungle?
He's gonna nod and absolutely. I'm Quilgok, and he'll stick out his large hand to shake your hand.
Well, nice to make your acquaintance, Quilgoth. My name is Jarvis, and I take his hand and shake it. I'm wondering if maybe you could come with me back to one of these fine establishments and tell me a little bit about what's out there.
Yeah, he'll nod. Of course, It's funny you should ask. I'm actually a guide. I can take you all through the jungle. I've traveled all the way up the river Soshinstar, all the way to the Aldani Basin and back. There's no land more beautiful or dangerous than Chult, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about it.
Well, that sounds just lovely. Let's. You got a preference for your drink?
Yeah, he will suggest heading to. Let's see, what is it called? He will suggest heading to the Thundering Lizard.
Well, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so he will follow along with you and kind of lead the way down. The Thundering Lizard is in the Red Bazaar. And this place is... well, it's named for a couple of reasons. The largest reason is that as you step up to it, you see that it's pretty obvious which building it is, just from the sound coming out of it, because the sound is very thunderous in its own sort of way. There is music, there is just raucous laughter, and there is the entrance to this place is a giant skull from some kind of dinosaur. It is a jaw that is stretched open wide, and teeth kind of angle in from both above. The ones from below are some of them have kind of been broken out of the way to make a doorway, but there are still a couple of large spikes that kind of come up out of the bottom part of this jaw to make this doorway to this building.
Hey, this looks like my kind of place.
Sorry, go ahead.
How big is Quilgok? Is he towering over the rest of us also, or is he joining the tiny crew?
No, Quilgok is pretty big. Let me see what it says here.
I guess
Better not be taller than me.
I can't hear T. So.
Oh,
I can.
yeah, I can hear him too, Brad. Okay, so a Tortle. Let's just describe what you're seeing here.
There we go.
Yeah, so this Tortle is around 6 feet tall. So he's on the tall side. He is like 500 pounds, shell and all.
Big boy.
He is massive. That's what you're seeing. He's got hands. They look very much like turtle hands with kind of claws on the end of them. That he was very careful, like when he shook your hand, Jairus, to like not scratch you or anything. It's obvious that that he's pretty skilled in using his hands.
Wink.
They don't wear a whole lot of clothing because they are basically inside of their shell for the most part, except for their appendages that stick out. So basically they just have like some belts and that kind of thing strung around them, harnesses for carrying supplies, but no large amounts of clothing or anything.
So we went to the Thundering Lizard, was it called?
Thundering Lizard, yeah.
Thundering Lizard, okay.
We can mark
Hey, so before we get into this guide into the jungle stuff, do you guys feel like doing some easy work for some cash?
Yeah, well, it depends on what kind of work.
Yeah, so there's this guy who is taking advantage of this merchant, and he actually is essentially withholding the funds that he owes the merchant. And he needs someone to help get those back.
Oh, well, if this man has been stealing, then of course we have to bring the justice to him.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. And it's the pay's not bad either.
Well, is this really anything more than just a diversion?
Yeah, should I make a perception check if he's not telling the full truth?
We have more important things to do.
I mean, do you have anything important to do tonight?
Yeah.
Well, then don't come.
All right.
Ooh.
with a 17 perception. How cagey are you trying to be, Arigem? Like, do you want to make a roll, or do you? Because I'll give you a performance roll. That's probably or a persuasion roll. I guess is maybe the better the better thing here.
It really doesn't matter. It's all the same. So, I guess. I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to.
I think Galia is just trying to kind of get a sense of how
noble it is. If this is really some poor merchant that has been stolen from and he is on the last of his limbs and it's only through us.
No, yeah, you can tell it's definitely not that. Like, you can definitely tell that. It's Arrogant sounds like has a job and wants to make some money. That's like, I guess, what his intentions are. Is he's not trying to take advantage of anyone, but he's definitely not trying to help people out either.
Well, do we need some money for supplies and that kind of thing?
Yeah, that was my thought. It's not a huge chunk of money, but it's definitely not a hard job for the amount we're getting.
Well,
Asa currently has more money than she's ever seen and has no idea what to do with it anyway. So.
Look, I'll let you guys decide later. We'll talk to this Quillglock. We'll talk to Quillglock and we'll figure it out after that.
Excellent. So, Jairus, Quillglock will go in, like, because you're the one who kind of engaged with him.
Yeah.
So he's going to be addressing you kind of mostly, but like, if everybody else is listening and stuff, he'll open up to everyone else. as well. He's going to tie his Ankylosaurus up outside of the. There's like a kind of a hitching post for dinosaurs outside that involves like it's not just like a standard hitch like it has kind of slats and stuff. They kind of get their own little pin just a little bit so they can't get at the other creatures. But he'll and as he's doing that, he's gonna kind of look over at Jairus. This is my Ankylosaurus deadly treasure. She's a beauty, isn't she?
Yeah, she's real beautiful. How'd you tame her?
Well,
Where'd you find her?
I was a dinosaur racer here in town, and
You're a racer.
well, I was,
Oh,
and did that for a while, and and now I guide people around the jungle.
well, I'm wondering if you have any advice on what's out there. What's what are the biggest dangers that we're going to run into when we first leave town?
Yeah, So walking into the Thundering Lizard. I think I wrote Wizard on the Wizard is almost better. All right. You'll be able to find this place is crowded, right? Like it is busy, and you can tell it is a centerpiece sort of place of this town. But there would be a place to sit and chat and Quilgok will begin filling you in. Well, it's almost easier to ask what won't kill you out there. But if I were you, if you're just looking to head out, I'd make sure that I had supplies to get going. You're gonna need. He's gonna think for a minute. And he's gonna especially look at Galia and Red, kind of with their heavier armors and that sort of thing. It's like, well, first off, the heat is probably gonna kill you before anything, especially if you're wandering around in armor like that. The first thing you can do, you're gonna need lots of water. And the stuff that you find out in the jungle, well, I wouldn't drink it.
Well, I could actually fix that, so...
Is it poisonous to you because you're, Tortle, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think... Arrogant might have known it. I don't know.
It's Tortle. Yeah, he is, I'm pulling up the disease rules here.
Also, because I have the fire resistance, would that make me more resistant to like the heat exhaustion and whatnot?
Potentially, yeah. It could help.
And do I get... Keep going, I'm gonna look at something really quick.
Yeah. He's going to, we can do that if you want to, Eric, by the way. What you messaged me, we can do that in a couple minutes here.
Okay.
He's going to look back at Aragem. Well, no, it would affect just about anybody. It's the damn throat leeches.
The throat what?
Well, they're these leeches that are in the water, and if you drink it, they're gonna latch on to the inside of your throat.
Wow. How big are they?
Well, they get bigger the longer they're there because they start sucking
Oh.
your blood.
So they start out like real tiny.
What if you just stick something sharp down there?
Well, I mean, he's gonna look really confused.
Well, if you some ice, something that'll dissolve, so it won't mess up your internal systems. But never mind. You're not gonna get ice in the jungle.
Is it something you could purify out with magic?
I mean,
it sounds like they're little critters.
I suppose you probably could. I haven't ever been able to do that myself.
Can you do magic?
Let's see. Can he do any magic? Sorry, I need to pull up his character sheet for that.
So purify food and drink that I was thinking of.
It is.
Renders
Yeah,
renders free of poison and disease, so it wouldn't take care of critters.
yeah, wouldn't take care of critters in there. Quilgok, no, he does not have magic. He is more of a fightery sort of person. Better with. He carries a quarterstaff and has a crossbow strapped to his shell as well. He's going to nod. I mean, some magic might take care of him, but it's something I don't know. But all right, well, let's say that you've got your water taken care of, though, and you all have enough to drink. And mechanically, just so you know, that is 2 gallons per day per person is what you need to survive.
Yeah. Well, Red will quickly pull out a little book and flip through it and say, I can take care of water if we need to.
He's going to say, well, you can also take, you can buy some rain catchers maybe in the market. Those might help you catch some rain during the monsoons that happen. And that's maybe the second thing that'll kill you out there is trying to travel in the rain.
How often does it rain?
Most days. Not always too bad, but you just gotta be careful with it. Let's see. What else is there?
Rain.
Well, there's...
I don't think I've ever seen rain.
I can create water.
He's going to say there's of course all the creatures out there. You probably saw some of the tame ones here in town, but there's...
I can't wait to meet him.
Well, just make sure you don't meet the chomping end of some of them. If you don't have one of these, he'll tap his shell, kind of, on his side. If you don't have one of these, they'll bite you in half rather than talk to you. Not that they can talk, but you know what I mean. He'll say, let's see, what else? Well, there's the bugs. There's lots of bugs out there. I'd make sure that you get some bug spray here in town. That'll help you fight off any of the illnesses that they carry. What else is there? Well, I don't know. There's a lot of specific stuff, but those are the big things I'd watch out for.
Well, thanks, Quilgok. I think you've got us in the right direction on what to supply up on. But we're actually out here looking for something in particular. Do you know any rumblings about necromancy out there?
He's going to kind of shake his head. No, I can't say that I do.
Soulmonger.
He's gonna kind of look over at Red. Bless you. He doesn't know dwarves very well.
Red just looks at him with, what?
No, I can't say that I know much about magic stuff. Only some of what I've seen out. I know there's a lot of undead out in the jungle. That's another thing that'll kill you. You get out there, and the undead will. You gotta watch out for them.
Is there any particular place where they're concentrated?
There's a lot of places where they're concentrated. I'd stick as close to you can as to streams and to some of the waterways. It's the more of the heart of the jungle that you get to, the more you're gonna run into. Of course, the streams and the waterways have their own dangers as well, so maybe get a canoe or something like that. That might help you navigate. You could probably buy one of those in town here as well if you felt like that.
Oh.
He's gonna just kind of eye you up and down. So you don't know anything really about the jungle. This is what you're saying.
That's precisely correct, and I suspect that tomorrow we'll be heading out into the thick of it.
I know lots of stuff about the forest, but this is way different.
Well, there's a lot of guides here in town, and I'd understand if you wanted someone else, but I happen to be available, and I'd be happy to take you around the jungles. Like I said, it would be me, it would be my dinosaur deadly treasure, my Ankylosaurus, and, well, I know my way around. I may be a little more expensive than some of the other guides. I charge 6 gold pieces per day for my services, and I do charge for 30 days up front, but I would be happy to travel with you, keep you safe when you're out there. It seems like you could use someone who knows what's going on.
Well, I like you, cool Doc, but I'm not sure if I can make that decision by my lonesome.
If I can... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he's going to say, I totally understand that. If you want to see who some of the other guides are, then you can head up to the center of town, up near the... what is it called? Up near the harbor master's office, which is actually not really near the center of town. That the harbor master's office is right over here. But he'll tell you that there is a bulletin board that is maintained by the merchant princes. Licensed guides have to register with the princes, and that there is a posting that lists who all of the available guides are in town, and it's you can get more information there.
If I could throw this out here, the money we make from the job that I found would just about cover the cost of his 30-day fee. So, one night, we could pretty much pay him for a month.
Isn't it 5 days? He charges 6 gold a day for 30 up front, which is 5 days, right?
So, isn't it 6 gold a day?
6 gold a day. 30 days up front is 180 gold.
Yeah. We make 125, so that leaves...
Oh. Did I misread that? I thought he wanted 30 gold. Oh, 30 days, not 30 gold. Never mind.
Well, you're right, Arrogant. I don't see why I can't back you up.
It shouldn't be too difficult. Not anything illegal. Just collecting some debts.
Well, I'm not
And we still have supplies.
interested in getting into squabbles of the Earth folk, but need our money for supplies, and I don't have enough for a guide as well. Guess this makes sense, Ergen.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely appreciate having you guys along. And like I said, I promise it's not illegal.
Well, if we need the money so badly, then I suppose that we could help your merchant friend.
Very good. We're supposed to meet him there, and he'll like look out the window towards the sun. An hour-ish. Maybe we should get some rooms for the night here, and we'll go on over to take care of this job.
Sure.
All right. I'll meet you guys outside.
All right, great. You know what? This might be a good time for us to take a short break. Why don't we do that real quick, and we can deal with securing your room and going on your mission here.
Also, just really quick, I was just looking at the Dungeon Master Guide, and I get automatic success on saving throws with in extreme heat because of my fire resistance.
Perfect. That sounds good.
So, did we want to check the bulletin board for other guides, or are we all happy with our Tortle friend?
I mean, I really like the Tortle.
I like the
Yeah, I like him.
I do too. And, not least
he
because
has
I
a
want to
dinosaur,
make
man.
Lauren keep doing that
Yeah.
voice.
He's a freaking dinosaur racer. What a badass.